So then I'm curious if I take a 17-year-old hunting, and we go out in a dove field, and that 17-year-old is a half a mile away from me on the other end of the field, it's legal for them to shoot and hunt and have the gun and the ammunition on their person because I've authorized it as an adult. What happens if we come back to the house and we inadvertently leave a shotgun shell in the hunting coat and hang it up on the hook?
Senator Boysko has the floor.
17-year-old is present in the house.
Madam President, the law would say that a person has to put the gun away and lock it up as soon as they take it off their person. I think it's explanatory.
Members of the body, I understand the gentlelady's intent, and I appreciate that intent, but the devil's always in the details. And there are those of us who live in rural Virginia, and we are raised up with hunting guns, and they're not assault weapons, and they're not pistols, and they're not all these things that you hear about, but they're just old shotguns, sometimes handed down from generation to generation. But when you try to legislate for everything, you end up with unintended consequences, and we just discussed one. You know, at 16 years old, you can drive an automobile. An automobile can be a lot more dangerous than a gun. And it is an absurdity to think that I could take a 17-year-old out in a field. That person could be at the other end of the field unsupervised and legally shoot, but then once we come back into the home, if that shell was in the pocket of the hunting coat, I'm now guilty of a criminal offense. And I've never been guilty of a criminal offense in my life, and I don't want to be now. And so that's what happens. This is a trap for the unwary. You are setting honest, law-abiding citizens up to be convicted of a crime. It's a well-intended bill, but this bill needs a lot more work to accomplish the intention of the bill. Thank you, Madam President.
Nobody wants anybody to be injured by a gun or any other reason. But, Madam President, when we look at the law today, the law already has a criminal penalty for recklessly handling a firearm allowed if the children is under the age of 14. That's the law today. Madam President, we talk about trying to stop things from happening that are bad. We want to protect Virginians. We want to protect our children. But, Madam President, more Virginians, more children are dying from fentanyl overdoses than gun violence and traffic accidents together. Not one or the other, but together.
Firearm storage. Last polling I was able to find just Googling around here said 8 in 10. 8 in 10 Americans, and probably more than that, Virginians, support what we're debating here. And for some reason, we're having a debate about something that, 8 in 10, probably 9 in 10 in this state support, given that the teacher just got shot. I mean, why are we debating this? The public opinion is clear about this, but the politics is what's getting in the way of all this. I would just also note that talking about what we've been talking about in the Judiciary Committee for the last few days, this is a bill that creates a new standard. It creates a new law. It also provides notice when you purchase a gun that you are to be advised of this new law. We're not talking about increasing punishment on something that's already illegal. There's a big difference between jacking up the consequences on stuff that's been illegal for decades versus creating a brand new legal standard with a notice to other people, which will change behavior.
But here's the heart of the point for me. I don't care about the politics of it. I agree that people believe in safe gun storage, as do I, and I store my guns, and I got a lot of them, safely. And I kept them away from my children when they were growing up and they were little, because that's a responsible thing to do. But now we're enacting a statute that says if you don't lock it up, it's a class 4 misdemeanor. We've already got a law on the books that says if you leave a gun and someone under 14 gets it, it's a class 1 misdemeanor. Yes, sir. And the whole point is we were sent here to do a job, and we're supposed to do the job correctly. And I pointed this out in the committee. When I was at Parris Island, South Carolina, when I joined the Marine Corps many years ago, there were a bunch of them in there that had signed waivers, and they were there at 17 years old. And I assume you can still do that today. I don't know for sure. So we're going to let them use the most sophisticated weaponry in the country, perhaps the world. But yet, if they come in the house and they're exposed to a shotgun shell that I have forgotten and left in my hunting coat and hung up on the hook, that now makes me a criminal. And I've worked hard all my life to make sure I obey the laws and do what I'm supposed to. The point of it is, you didn't think the bill through. The bill needs work. We don't want to inadvertently catch up honest people in society who are trying to do the right thing, and somehow now we're going to criminalize them. It's not right. We need to fix it. And the bill, this is my issue. Not that I oppose safe gun storage. I don't think anybody in here does. Nobody wants a 6-year-old to bring guns to school.
This is a bill that Republicans and Democrats should join together to support. There is data that shows that safe gun storage saves lives. All of us know when we were children, we got into things that we weren't supposed to get into. We figured out where moms hid the Christmas presents. We knew where the liquor cabinet was. We knew where the car keys was. This is a way to say you've got to actually lock it up and keep the key away from someone where they cannot get to it. Our children are dying in numbers that we have not seen before. Gun death violence is the #1 cause that we're losing kids. And we have the ability here. We're the grown-ups, and we can do something about it. I move we pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, no 16.
Ayes 22, no 16. The bill passes.